We all got burned to some degree, but after I jumped out of the tank, before I could get to cover, I was sitting in the back, but they were still shelling it. And I laid in the deep snow because it was the coldest winter in history in that area there. It's always deep there, and everybody was freezing, and everybody had frozen fingertips. Anyway, I don't know how long I laid there for, it seemed like it just, maybe it wasn't very long, maybe just a few seconds, and one of the officers came up and he says, "Joe, you hurt? You hit that?" I said, "I don't know." So he called somebody else, and they both grabbed my arms and dragged me behind a building where they called an aid first aid. They put some sulfur in the Band-Aid on, and a compress on it, and they got a blanket from one of the tanks and carried me to an indentation in the ground, like a shell crater, and put me there where I was safe for a while. And I laid there for quite some while, just thinking about home and all that stuff, not knowing how bad I was sort of. And then the firing was still going on, and finally got quiet. And the shelling and everything over, the battle was over. And then a little while later, a Jeep came by, and two guys, soldiers, got out with a stretcher, put me on a stretcher, put me on the hood of a Jeep, and took me to an aid station. And at the aid station, as soon as I got there, they gave me a shot of morphine, and by that time I was fine. I felt real good. And one guy lit a cigarette, gave it to me, smoking a cigarette. Another guy said, "Can I have your combat boots? You know, I said, sure, you're not going to need them anymore." I said, "Go ahead, take them." A little while later, an officer came and took my .45 out of my side pocket, and he said, "You're not going to need this anymore." But I didn't care whether he could have done anything because I was still on the morphine. Gave me 6 to 8 units of plasma. And then after that, no, that was after that. Then they put me in a regular Army ambulance and took me to a MASH unit. And I said by that time it was dark already. They laid me outside the Nissan hut, and then there was a few people wounded on both sides to me. Some were moaning, some crying, some calling them up for their mother, stuff like that. Then a priest came up to me, anointed me, and blessed me. And then a little while later, our doctor came out and says, "How you doing, soldier?" I said, "My knee hurts me." Not my back, my knee. He turned me over on my side, and he says, "No wonder. From the burn on the tank, I said, it burnt my knee, and bouncing around on a Jeep, laying on my stomach, it tore the skin and flesh off my knee." So that bothered me more than my back. I didn't even feel the back. Then they gave me a shot of sodium phenethol, and before I knew it, I was out. And the next morning, I woke up, and I was in really terrible pain. I was pleading for them to give me a shot of morphine. They just ignored me. Nurses walking all over, taking care of other patients. I kept asking them, please give me a shot. They kept ignoring. Finally, the nurse came and gave me a shot, and I said, "Thank you." But all it was a shot of penicillin. That was the first of about 100 shots of penicillin I got. Anyway, that's it. Then I was there for about 3 or 4 days, something like that. And then I was taken to hospital in Paris. And I remember going there. It was a real hospital with bright lights and nurses in the MASH unit. They're in fatigues. There are nurses in their white outfits and their white hats and bright lights, white sheets and everything. I was still miserable in pain, but I could remember seeing all that. And while I was there, I remember one soldier came in. He was on leave. He tried to cheer me up and tell me about he just had a pass. He was up talking about the girls in Paris and all that kind of stuff. But that didn't interest me. But then the next day or so, I went under surgery again. They operated on my back and knee again a second time. and I was there for about a couple of weeks. Then I was put on a train to go to England, and I remember it was two bunks on both sides, stacked up on both sides of the train. It was a hospital train. And I remember them just coming, keep changing my compress, changing the dressing. And then I passed out, and I was gone. And I woke up about a month and a half or 2 months later in the hospital in England. And then when I came out of it, I remember the people in the ward cheering like somebody just came out of the dead, you know. Anyway, that was that. I thought they had an infection or something that knocked me out. They kept pumping me with penicillin. And after I finally came out of it, then they start getting me ready, shipping me ready to get me back to the States. And they put a full body cast on me from under my arms. Anyway, the course was over. With one leg, it was already down for the knee, and the other one was just up to the knee. So I really couldn't move very much, but then I was feeling okay. And I was put on a ship back to the States. And they said this was pretty good on the ship, and it was nice. And I was right next to a porthole, and I could see what's going on, and hopefully the ships was not falling through. And I came back to the States and I landed there, and I remember being all in New York. It was Camp Shanks, New York. It was there we went, and I remember seeing all different kind of colors. You know, color green, all different color cars, green and everything. Used to seeing all that there, khaki and you know, black and white and everything. It's like going from black and white to color. Then I was in the hospital in New York just a couple of days. And I remember a doctor coming up to me and says, "Could you move your toes?" I whipped my toes. I said, "Well, you're a lucky man," because it's all how close I was hit to the spine. So I was very lucky. Then I was sent to a hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where I recuperated until my mother and my sister Thelma were there to meet me when I got there. So by the time they got there, they had taken the cast off of me. I was sitting in a wheelchair. Anyway, that's up to that point there. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then they told me that right away they started giving me therapy. They said as soon as you're able to walk, my one leg was, you know, if I could gain the straight on my one side and learn to walk on crutches, you could go home on a furlough. So I worked real hard. I got to walk walking the bars, you know, and I mastered walking on crutches, so I got a convalescent furlough once I came home.
Oh, okay.
That was my first furlough. I went home for a month, and I went back for another month for treatment.
To Indy?
Came on another month.
To Indy?
Huh?
Back to Indianapolis?
Yeah, back to the same hospital. Every other month I got a furlough. I remember the first furlough was in May, and I happened to be home when the war in Europe was over. And my dad was very active in American Legion in the First World War. Mm-hmm. They had a parade going down Euclid Avenue. So they got me in the car in the parade, and I was marching in, everybody cheering and everything. That's it. The rest is just about history.
So your father was
because he was disabled too. He was able to go to stuff like that too.
Was he in the infantry? Was he in the infantry?
No, horse cavalry.
That's what I meant. Yeah, horse cavalry.
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
I like to hear some stories about. I like to hear some stories about Grandpa.
I'm sorry?
Stories about Grandpa in the infantry. Do you know anything about those?
He used to tell a couple of stories. He remember telling us, of course it was rough over there, but he was telling me back in the States, they chased Ponce Villa back across the Mexican border. He used to tell us a story about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was a good rider, horse rider.
I imagine he was.
No, by the time I start riding, he was gone.
That's too bad they took your 45 from you.
Huh?
That's too bad they took your.
Oh, they took everything. And there was a guy that had some good combat boots. The guy used it, and then the officer took it. What was I going to do with it?
Would have been a nice souvenir to have.
No, not that. You don't take that as a souvenir.
No?
That's Army issue. They take that from you.
Want to take it from you?
If you had a German Luger, you got that and you send it home. But not if you had it. Anything I had as a souvenir was lost on the tank.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The only thing I had was on my pocket. I gave you that watch. I had that all through the war. I still had that, because that was still on my hand. But that was sort of my wallet or whatever I had. That's all I had. Everything they had, they give me all new clothes, everything all over again. So, they gave me creep it out with the clothes when I get to go home on furlough. So, that's it. Yeah,
I didn't.
I was 20 years old when I was doing it. Oh no, not for a long
I
time.
was in junior high school.
Yeah, no, she was 13 and I was 20.
I was still in grade school.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
junior high school. I know what grade.
Now, that's the first time I went through the whole thing with anybody. I don't know how I went through it.
Probably somewhere.
Hard to relive, isn't
I
it?
could never finish it.
He never spoke about it really until we started going to the reunion. I started sharing with the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Oh yeah. When they told me I could go home as soon as I got there. So when the first time I came home, I was on crutches. And the second time I came home for a little, I was on a cane. So when I was discharged from the Army hospital, I was still on a cane. Then I had a year of outpatient treatment after I was discharged. That's where they set me with a back brace. Once I put me with a back brace, I threw the cane away. I didn't need the cane anymore. And then it got to the point that I didn't even need the brace all the time. I work when I worked, when I went to work or something, when I did anything else, otherwise I didn't even wear it. Until it got to the point where I had to start wearing it more often.
Well, then after you got married and you started having kids, then he started going back to the VA hospital in Parma.
No.
I remember that.
No, yeah, right. There is something. When Mom was pregnant with Diane, I was starting to have pain down, and I went to the old cryo hospital. I was there for 6 weeks. And they gave me all kinds of treatment, did everything. They thought that there's nothing more they could do because it was scar tissue so close to the spine. Any more surgery would give more scar tissue and cause more problems. So they didn't do anything other than therapy and treatment.
Well, they removed that thing from your back then, didn't they?
Huh?
Didn't they remove that lump from
Yeah, I had a growth on my back, so while I was in the hospital, they moved that growth. Then I wanted to get home, and when I was home, as if Mom would have to keep dressing that, or else I'd stay at the hospital. So when I came home, Mom it was an open wound. She had to keep changing it, dressing and everything, or else I'd have to stay in the hospital.
You were in the tub, remember? And
Huh?
I'd have to wash it. You would sit in the tub and I'd wash it.
Yeah, she'd have to until it healed by itself.
Because I can remember taking trips to the VA hospital as a kid.
No, I know it's been a long time. I didn't start going to the hospital.
How much older are you than Diane?
5 years.
All right, so you might have been 4.
Yeah.
Going with me.
And she was pregnant with Diane. I know she used to drag all you boys
Yeah.
to the hospital with her.
It's back where the Metro College is now.
And that's what bugged me. There was a car sitting in the driveway,
And I wasn't driving.
and she wasn't driving. And she'd take the bus or depend on somebody else. Or
Grandma
that's
took
what-
me a lot.
As soon as I came back, I said, "Boy, you're driving." I made her.
I had a license when I was in high school, but it just, and I thought it expired in a year, and I wasn't aware of it.
Anyway, she had to make sure she passed it the first time.
You
I
remember
put
that?
2 garbage cans in
Do
a
you remember
pole.
that when he made me park in front of the house and all the neighbors were watching? Come on, go ahead.
She had to do it 3 times in a row. Perfect 3 times in a row. If she did it twice and missed, she'd have to start over again. So she finally got 3 in a row, and then she went and had a test the next day, and she passed it with flying colors.
Because he said you better pass it or else.
So she's been driving ever since then. Besides
I
driving.
still have my first the driver's license.
Do you really?
Yeah. The one I got in high school.
Yeah? Wow. I don't have mine.
Do you remember me taking you to get your driver's test?
The first time or second time?
I don't.
The first time I passed it with flying colors. I parallel parked. And he said, okay, pull it out. And I left it in reverse. And I hit the cone. And it was tipped like this. And he said, be careful. And as I pulled out, the cone fell. So I had to go back a week later or something like that to take it again.
So you don't have to parallel park anymore.
No.
They don't exist anymore.
They put you through like a, typical course where you have to be able to turn the wheel on.
Yeah, that's what those cars nowadays parallel park for you.
Yes, they do now.
Yeah.
I never took a driver's test.
No? You got it in the Army, huh?
Yeah. I might as well say that because I didn't. We all got burned to some degree, but after I jumped out of the tank, before I could get the cover, I was sitting in the back, but they were still shelling it. And I laid in a deep snow because it was the coldest winter in history in that area.